failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
And you live in this country, then you can disagree with me.
Apparently, this next video is what got Don Lemon fired. Don't forget, guys, go to LFRFamily.com and get you some Bang Bang tea.
Here's what you said, referring to back to 1865. Here it was.
1619. I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
I want you to raise your hand if you know when the first anti-gun laws were passed in this country. Raise your hand if you do. 1865. You want to know when it happened? We fought a civil war in this country to give black Americans the equal protection under the law that we failed to secure them in 1776. But then you want to know what happened? Southern states passed anti-gun laws that stopped black people from owning guns. The Democrat Party, then as in now, wanted to put them back in chains.
And please feel free to let me know in the comments section when he's lying. Right now, he seems to be on point. It's the same damn party that kept us bound back then that's keeping us bound today. But some people look at me right now, be like, bro, are you really, come on, you really putting that conservative news out here? Come on, bro, come on, you know they not for us, bro, come on now. Even back in the day, we gonna make sure these N-words vote Democrat for the rest of their lives. I'm trying to tell you, that's what he's talking about. Okay, let's go.
Then as in now, that's quite an accusation about the current Democratic Party. Who and what were you referring to?
I was referring to Joe Biden and his expression of wanting to put them back in chains, dating back to Lyndon Johnson. I think Lyndon Johnson's so-called Great Society was one of the greatest misnomers in American political history, where even back then in the 1960s, 70% plus of black kids were born into two-parent homes. Today, that number is less than 30% in the opposite direction. The very policies that we implemented in this country in the name of helping black Americans have actually been disastrous for black Americans and all Americans. And I think that's
facts. And some people don't look at it that way because they're like, man, but they giving us this and they giving us this and they giving us this. Yeah, but at what cost? Because in order for them to give you this and give you that, guess what you're going to have to do? Matter of fact, he going to mention it. He going to break it down, Devontae.
Something that we need to wake up to.
In 1865, you were talking about the black codes, right?
That's right.
Passed, enacted to make it a crime for a black person to carry a gun in the South. But you're equating that to the current president? You're referring to economic chains? What are you saying?
Well, I was referring to Joe Biden's, I think, ill-chosen expression to say they're the party that wants to put you back into chains. What I'm actually saying is that if you look at the policies of the modern Democratic Party.
About Democrats.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is that actually it's policies like that of Lyndon Johnson and Joe Biden that are actually holding black Americans back.
Lyndon Johnson's the war on poverty?
Yes, and in particular his Great Society, where he actually created incentives in the family where if you're a family, you could actually get more money by not having the father in the home.
Facts. This is all true. As a matter of fact, if you don't have the father in the home, then you get more money, huh? If you give us his social security number so that he have to pay us back, you get more money, huh? And a lot of people play this game and they don't need to, but they're ill-informed and they believe that this is help. This is helping the African American community, which it is not. It's going exactly the opposite direction. You know, I'm gonna be quiet in a minute, but I just want to say, after watching the conversation that this gentleman had with 3 people on the Breakfast Club, they was all coming at him from different sides. This dude held his cool. He was extremely intelligent, and he just schooled them all easily. And they kept trying to get in his, like they was getting real emotional really fast. That's when you know that someone is losing the debate. When they start getting all emotional super fast, and it's no longer about facts. It's about how I feel. And and just making up sugar honey iced tea. You about to start seeing Mr. Lemon do the same thing.
Guess what you get? You get what you pay for. I think it's been really bad for the black community. I think it's really bad for all Americans.
Do you have anything on this before I move on to China?
I don't see what one has to do with the other, but go on. I took up a lot of time with Fox.
Oh, it's fine. We have time.
I don't really see.
You see that right there? He's like, no. I'm just. He's saying stuff right now that I'm not ready to go up against. Okay, so I'm just going to go. I've taken up enough of your time. And she put her hands on him, and she was like, "No, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine." Because I want to see y'all go back and forth. She knows how to create some good content. That's what she's doing right there. She's getting him riled up, and he's about to go. And watch, she ain't gonna say too much after this.
What one has to do with the other, especially consider, and using the Civil War to talk about black Americans. That war was not fought for black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for black people to have freedoms in this country. Yeah. Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought. Okay.
Which amendment is one of those rights for people to bear arms, right? The Second Amendment. Am I right? No? No? So if you're fighting for the rights for black people to have rights, and that's one of the rights for black people to have the same as everyone else, then come on, Don Lemon. Don't try to do that, brother.
Okay. And the sad part about it, that wasn't fought for black people to have guns. I think.
Actually, you know, funny fact is, black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that that's one of the lessons that we learned.
Still aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. I think you're doing a disservice to our country.
Okay.
Did he just now say that black people are still not able to enjoy the freedoms of this country? Okay, I'm going to talk.
By failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
And you live in this country, then you can disagree with me. But
you see what he just now did? When you're in black skin, then you can disagree with me. When you're in black skin, then you can disagree with me. So what he's doing right now is he's making it emotional. He's making it about race. And the dude was actually, here's the thing. You got somebody who's speaking up for a community. He's speaking up for African Americans. But for some strange reason, because it does not align with Don Lemon's political stance or his position, then he want to argue with him. He want to make him feel like what he's saying is disingenuous when it's not. It's 1,000% true. If you can point out one thing that Vivek Ramaswamy is saying right now that is a lie, I will eat it up, man. For real.
We're not. You mentioned in here that we have three different shades
Don, I think we have to be able to talk about these issues in the open regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and 1964,
I think for you to compare it to 1865 and 1964 is actually, I think it's insulting to black people. It's insulting to me as an African American. I don't want to sit here and argue with you because it's infuriating for you to put those things together. It's not right. Your telling of history is wrong. What
part of the history was wrong?
What part of the history was wrong? That the Civil War was fought. You're making people think that the Civil War was fought for black people, only for black people to get guns and for black people to have.
He did not say only for black people to get guns, bruh. You can clearly see that Don Lemon he's losing this battle. And he's trying to find as many ways as possible to make Vivek feel bad for proposing what he did. So he made it like, okay, you're offending me as a black man. You don't have a right to talk about this. And it's wrong the way that you're delivering this because you're making it seem like you're making people feel like you're making people think. No, he's not making people feel a damn thing. He's making you feel small at the moment because you don't have the intellectual ability to go up against this man one-on-one. Clearly. And maybe this is why Joy Reid is ducking smoke too. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
The war was fought for black people in this country to get freedoms, a noble mission. And I think that even after we succeeded, we had to actually secure those freedoms.
To reduce it in a speech at the NRA to say you're making people think, or you're trying to say that black people to get guns, that was the reason that you're there at the NRA. That was the reason for the Civil War.
It is a fact.
That's reductive.
It's not reductive,
I think it's insulting. There are a whole plethora of reasons that for the Civil War.
With due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was part of what secured that freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on.
Hold on. You see that distraction right there? You see that? Oh, Don Lemon, you should say this. You should say this. Hit him with that one. Look, we just now did some Googles. And did you realize that his mother used to sell... You know what I mean? He's like, people in his ear trying to help him with this debate. He was like, look, I can't. The dude is getting all flustered because he is not winning this conversation. And guess what? Here's the thing. Guys, we need to stop trying to win conversations and just simply have a conversation. Have an objective conversation. Yes, he is talking at the NRA, but he's speaking far more broadly about many rights and many benefits that came from the civil rights I mean, from the Civil War. He's talking about the benefits that came from it. He's talking about different things that happened and was placed into motion after the fact. He's not only saying, well, after this, I mean, this was all about black people having guns. And when they got guns, everything was all right. He's not saying that. He's not trying to deduce the struggles of African-American culture, but it seemed like Don Lemon is. It seemed like with all the success that Don Lemon has seen, is seeing, and with all of his friendships that he have in life, business-wise, professional, or personally, he know a ton of African-Americans who are doing exquisitely, not even regular. They're doing phenomenally above and beyond what they ever thought or dreamed before, but he's still saying African Americans still can't enjoy the freedoms of this, that, and the other. So I don't know. He's sitting back in his nice $4,000 suit with his legs crossed, talking about African Americans still can't enjoy freedoms. Come on, bruh. If you were in my skin, then you will understand. Come on, man. If both of y'all are pulled up, as a matter of fact, Vivek Ramaswamy is probably darker than you in hue when you look at their skin. When you look at their skin color, they're probably either the same complexion or he's darker than you. So relax.
1 second. So to say that black people, say what you said again?
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They were not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it? They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got, the NRA played a big role in that. But today, Don, the NRA
did not play a big role in that.
Absolutely, they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role in that.
This is just historical fact.
It's not historical fact.
Okay, so what they're doing right now is this is becoming a semantics debate. Positive wills were put into motion after the Civil War, right? Wars happen, good and bad things come from it, depending on who won. Okay? Vivek is saying good things started to happen. The wheels started to move in the right way. Okay? But what the Democrats want to make sure when they talk about black issues, they talk about, but we had to do this and we had to do that and we had to do this and we were still getting chased by dogs and we were still being lynched and we were still being this and we were still 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 and we were still. He's talking about, look, it has to start from somewhere, and that's where it started, and it started moving in the right direction from that point. But you want to act as if I'm being extremely specific, saying that once the Civil War happened, black people had no more issues. We were as free as a bird. We was good. We had the same rights as everyone else and didn't have to fight for a thing. He did not say that, Don, but Don is extremely sour. And that's probably why I'm thinking that Lemon was made up, because he's very sour. He is a sour young man.
Part that I
find, because you say it's historical fact.
The part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a different point of view.
Black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate without me regarding you as a black man, but me regarding you as a fellow citizen.
That's what I think we should see. Whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity
about what it's like to be black
whatever
in America.
Ethnicity
he is not trying to explain to you what it's like to be black in America, bruh. And you know what's happened? You know what's funny? Most liberal black people will watch this and eat this up. They will eat this up. He's trying to tell you what it's like to be black in America. No, he's not. I'm black, and I'm not offended by what he's saying at all. And it's for a reason. It's because I'm not all butthurt about the struggles that we had to go through. Good had to start from somewhere. When people rise up against other people for the sake of people in general, that is a good thing. And that's what happened with the Civil War. People are giving their lives. Don't give a damn if they're going to come home to their families. because there's a greater good. And yes, people were fighting for people that don't look like them, was not born in the same places that they were born, went through slavery and they did not, and all this other stuff. Ain't nobody trying to say that the good white man came and saved the day for the black man. No. What he's saying is that some good came from it. It started then, and you need to acknowledge it, but he won't. Why? Because if he does, then his whole fan base of his race hustling will start to fall. It will start to diminish. You cannot give up your position once you're fully bought in. He is fully bought in. Race hustling is his thing. That's his business. That's his business model. Period. He's sour as hell, man.
I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this debate.
On the content of the ideas.
If you're going to do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay? We appreciate you coming on.
With due respect, Don, I look forward to continuing that conversation.
Thank you. The conversation.
Thank you
so much.
All right, so y'all saw what he did, man. This dude then got so flustered with the conversation that he decided to end their conversation. He was like, man, look, I can't get across to you that I'm black and that I hold, when we talking about black issues, it's me, bruh. Huh? I'm the most important guy in the room when we talking about black issues. Why? Because any, mini, money, mo, I'm the black dude in this show. All right? When we talking about white issues, we'll let her talk. When we talking about Indian issues, huh? When we talking about Indian issues, we'll let you talk. Okay? That's what we're... Vivek was too much for him.